How's it going, everyone out there in YouTube land? Wanted to do my response to WrCallofDuty420's contest he currently has going on. And his name's William. Really cool cat. Sorry it took me so long to get this done, William. There's like 4 or 5 contests going on right now. Still have to do one for Hulk's big toe. But anyway, real quick, if you guys don't know William or haven't been to his channel or watched his videos, check him out. He's a cool guy, and he's really enthusiastic about his videos, and I think it's contagious. He puts a lot of energy and passion into everything he's doing. You know, he loves comic books. You can tell by his name, Call of Duty, he loves video games. And 420, poor William suffers from glaucoma, so we hope that you find something to get you relief from that, William. But also, William is a very good, talented young artist. And what I like about William as an artist is you can tell he's doing it because he likes it. He's always working on sketching. If he's bored or just sitting around, he's like, oh, just think I'll do a sketch. And he's always practicing to hone his craft, and that's what makes you get better. Having a passion and a desire and putting in the effort and the work. And if you watch his videos, you can see, you know, him growing as an artist. He's a cool guy. Check out his stuff. And he's nice enough to do a giveaway contest. So the first question of Williams was character that you wish never existed. And there's so many I could think of. So many bad characters, but I had to go with the one that I thought did the most damage to the franchise he was involved with, and that, without question in my mind, is the Scarlet Spider, Mr. Ben Reilly, the clone. He has a garbage blue hoodie. Didn't like him from the get-go. This storyline was a disaster, chased a lot of people away from comics. This really, in my lifetime, the biggest comic buying and collecting era I ever saw was in the 90s. You know, when they launched the new X-Men title, McFarlane's Spider-Man title, Death of Superman. More people were buying comics at that time than ever, and I think this storyline in this character helped to burst that comic collecting of the bubble of the 90s and kind of thinned out the hobby, got rid of a lot of the people who didn't truly love it enough to wade through this bullshit. So he's one character I wish never existed. An honorable mention to, in this crappy Spider-Man storyline, Ezekiel. Also wish he never existed. As a matter of fact, I don't wish J. Michael Straczynski never existed, but I wish he never touched Spider-Man. Spider-Man's Marvel's greatest character. He has the best rogues gallery. You don't need crappy storyline gimmicks to sell Spider-Man books. If anything, it chases away people, in my opinion. But this story I hated because he shits all over continuity. Oh, Spider-Man's powers weren't given to him by a radioactive spider. He's the next in line to inherit the powers of the spider totem, and here's this crappy hobbit-looking guy Ezekiel who has Spider-Man's powers too, and it was just nonsense. I hated it. And he also did one Sins of the Past later, where he just said, hey, sorry to tell you all this, but Gwen Stacy was a whore who was sleeping with the Green Goblin behind Peter Parker's back, and oh, here's their 2 superpowered kids that are going to come back and try and kill Spider-Man, and man, did that piss me off. And to make it worse, it was beautifully drawn by Mike Deodato Jr., and you had this beautiful art covering this just insult to Spider-Man fans. So I like some of the stuff Straczynski did, like, you know, Supreme Power, what he did with Squadron Supreme, but as far as what he did with Spider-Man, garbage in my opinion. The second question was, if you created a character, what would his powers be? And what's funny is, as little kids, I was probably about 5 and my brother was 8 or 9, we're on a ride, I guess, to vacation. And in a notebook in the back of the car, we created our own little crappy comic books and created this guy called Captain Courage. And, you know, they were stories by little kids and they weren't that great, but he was basically kind of like a billionaire hybrid of like Richie Rich, James Bond, and Batman. You know, he didn't have any powers, but he had every gadget that you couldn't even think of, and his costume was horrible. It was kind of a combination of the 70s live-action Captain America costume worn by Reb Brown and Evel Knievel's costume, but he had like jetpacks and gadgets and all kinds of crap. But the cool thing was my mom worked with this guy Kevin, and I can't remember his last name. It was a really long Polish last name, and I'm sad I can't remember. The guy was talented as hell. I don't know why he never got into art, but he saw our little crappy comic books, and he drew me and my brother's beautiful pen and ink sketch of Captain Courage, and I was just blown away. And I wish I still had that to show you. I'll have to ask my mother if she has it. I doubt, but she holds on to a lot of stuff like that for me. She knows I don't like anything thrown away, so I'll have to check with her. But yeah, so that would have been our character from the minds of stupid elementary school kids, Captain Courage. But that's how much we loved comics, even back then. We loved them. So the final question is, if you could talk to your favorite superhero and ask him questions, what would it be? And that superhero for me would have to be Spidey, because, you know, he's like Daredevil and Batman. He's one of these normal guy superheroes, so to speak. He doesn't have invulnerability, healing factor, armor, or anything. He's just constantly physically getting the crap kicked out of him to do what's right. And he never gives up. And you can't keep Spider-Man down. He's been through probably more crap, and crap storylines, but more crap than any character. And this instance here, Amazing 33, I read this book when I was like 10 years old, and it just blew me away. And I was already in love with Steve Ditko's art. I was very picky about older artists, you know, as a kid. I didn't like Kirby as a kid. But Ditko was the one, you know, pre-70s, 80s artist that really blew me away. And after I read this issue, I just was totally in love with his work. But this issue, Spidey's trapped under all this wreckage, and he's blacking out, he's about to die, he's about to give up. But then he thinks about Aunt May and Mary Jane and all his loved ones and the responsibility he has to do good with his power, and he just rages out and powers all this equipment off his back and gets out of it. And it's so beautifully depicted by Steve Ditko in this issue. It's one of my favorite Spidey issues, and that really made an impression on me as a kid. And here's another one, you know, Kraven's Last Hunt. Spidey was buried alive, and, you know, Kraven ruined him and buried him and tried to break him psychologically, and he came back and whooped Kraven's ass. And this is a great storyline too, and I love that cover by Mike Zeck. Iconic. And aside from, you know, all the stuff he knows, you know, he's not only a brilliant scientist and a brilliant academic mind, but Spidey inherited the power cosmic and became Captain Universe. So there's a good chance between his intelligence and coming into contact with that energy, he would probably have a higher understanding of how the universe works, the fabric of the cosmos and the universe, and, you know, our relationship to it. He'd probably have those answers, you know, more than most people. Maybe even, you know, maybe even people like Reed Richards. I hate to say it, he's probably the most brilliant mind in the Marvel Universe, but he wasn't spiritually in tune and enveloped in the power cosmic. Spidey was. So I just think he'd be brilliant to talk to, and he'd be able to answer all the questions. So those are the answers, my answers to William's contest. And I just wanted to say thank you to William and all these other guys that are taking time and money and books out of their collection to do something positive in the comic community. It's really cool. You know, when you have YouTube, a place that a lot of people use to be asshole trolls, to hurl insults and racial slurs from behind the safety and anonymity of their keyboard. But you have people in this comic community who just show so much respect and positive reinforcement and courtesy and just kindness to everybody. And you know, it's just a nice contrast, and it shows you, yeah, there's shitheads out there, but there's a lot of good people. And you know, and I think it's Hulk's Big Toe said recently too, I have to do an entry to his contest, but it's also cool to have people that love comics as much as you do. When something happens that you're just like, oh my God, you got all these other people who know just as much about it to discuss it with as you do. Because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, at my age, 37, a lot of my friends that collected comics don't do it as much anymore and aren't as into it as I am. So it's nice to have such a positive, wonderful community out there and good people to interact with, and we do appreciate it. But thanks for watching, and thank you all you guys who do these contests and show love to the comic community, and good luck to everyone else out there who's entered in these contests. Take care.